Hi, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video on some of the MAK kind of AV, or sorry, the classroom AV that's available to you. So this is a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about today. Over here, I am going to show you the resources that we have in most of the classrooms and just what the remotes look like, just so you kind of know what's going on. And then I'm going to go into the lesson plan and show you how to work with the teacher's lesson plan and play videos that the teachers maybe have asked you to play for their students when you substitute for them. Okay, so the first thing behind me is there's a TV back there. So yeah, all or most of our classrooms have TVs, and to turn on the TV, you need to locate the remote. Okay, so I'm going to go really close here, but this says Philips. Okay, and most of our TVs are Philips, JVC, or Samsung. So you just need to make sure when the teacher leaves you the plan that they tell you where that remote is. Okay. The second remote that you may require is something that looks like this. Okay, so that is an Apple TV remote. Okay, so this basically, if you need to use Apple TV, this is the old school one. You need to use this to kind of turn on your Apple TV. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the resources. Okay, so when you actually get to a teacher's lesson plan, and I'll just kind of click over here now, what you're going to see is just my random lesson from a few weeks ago with a sub I had. Now, one thing that most teachers do, but you can double check with your teacher in their plan, is if they kind of have this information about tech needs. So Chromecast, there's an ID for all the rooms. So make sure you know what that is for the classroom you're subbing in. Okay, so I've put it here. ID is MAK High School Science, and there will be different ones for different classrooms. The second one in here says laptop, then can cast to the high school science room. Okay, now I've also included that there's a Samsung remote and the HDMI connection. Okay, so that's important because when you go into someone's classroom, you don't know if they've, maybe for instance, just switched their connection for some reason. Okay, so if you look on the remotes, usually the source button, it kind of looks like this, like a kind of a rectangle with an arrow that allows you to change the source of the input. So that could be the Google Chromecast, which is HDMI 2 for this particular room, or Apple TV, which was HDMI 1. And if you point the source there, that menu comes up and it lets you switch between HDMI 1, HDMI 2. In this case, it looks like HDMI 1 is actually the Google Cast, which is different from the science room. All right. So what do you do next? So sometimes the teacher will ask you to play a video, which I've done here. So you're going to click on the link, and oftentimes in YouTube, in these lessons plans, it's just going to open up a new window for you. Okay, so then what do you do with that? Okay, so my video is loading. It was very long. Okay, so the next thing we have to deal with is actually like, how do we play this video and put it on the TV back there? Because that's what you might be doing. So hopefully I'm going to just pause this for a second so that it doesn't play in the background, because I don't really want to play this video, but I just want to show you how to play it. So I'm going to pause it here. Okay, and I'm going to pause here for a second. Okay, so all I've done is actually I had to move my webcam picture to the left there so that it wasn't blocking one of the icons. So in YouTube, when you're connected to the right network, you'll see that this button plays. It says play on TV. So when you see this icon, you can click it, and what it'll do is it'll bring up all the Chromecasts that are available to you. So it's really important to know your classroom. Right now, we're called something called MAK Think Tank. So I got to scroll. Usually it's alphabetical order, and I got to look for Think Tank. And then I'm going to click on Think Tank. And once I click on Think Tank, you'll see behind me that it's going to go play this YouTube video. Now, it takes a few seconds for it to connect, and you can see it's starting to cycle in my background. But when it's ready, it'll start playing. And I don't want it to play, so I'm going to stop it right now. Okay, so let me just pause the video for a second. Okay, so the other way to do this, besides using this icon, is actually to use the three dots here in the Chrome browser. And you'll see this thing called cast. Okay, and another way to cast is this way, and kind of gives you the same options of all the classrooms you can cast to. And you just find the classroom you're in. You have to kind of stop casting if there's something connected, and then recast like so. All right. Now, oftentimes you might have to turn your TV on before this to show up. So make sure your TV's on. Some Chromecasts always broadcast, but some don't. Okay, the last way to do this is you could also go to Apple TV, which is this icon here. And when you click it, first you gotta like make sure you use your remote and turn on the Apple TV. It's usually behind the TV. Just push the menu button on this one or the other remote in that classroom. And then the next thing you have to do is actually just find again where it's stated. So this is MAK Think Tank, and then AirPlay will put up a code there. So 8450, I enter the code, go OK, and then it will connect this screen to the TV. And it just blacked out there, but it's because it's connecting and the screen resolution is different. And that might have just like. So I just got cut off there, and you can see I kind of finished the video on a different day. But essentially, with Apple TV, sometimes it'll take a few moments for it to connect because of the screen resolution and when it applies your screen to the TV. And I guess the last thing just to say about the Apple TV is that sometimes the box, it's usually like a black looking box, like not too big. And I've seen it actually on top of the TV in the classrooms. And as I said earlier, sometimes you might have to look behind to press the remote menu button to turn it on when it's behind the TV in the given classroom. Okay, that's it. And I hope tech becomes easier for you at MAK. Thanks.